Namaskar. Welcome to this session on how to choose the correct attitude towards our actions and our results from the series Bhagavad Geeta in daily life. So, behind all our actions is our thought, and the scheme of Bhagavad Geeta, when it talks about actions or karma, as we call it in our scriptures, is very vast. It encompasses not just our physical actions, but karma also includes all our verbal actions and our mental actions, which are called thoughts. It is from these thoughts that what we speak happens and what we do also happens after this thought. And that's why the mechanism or the management or the awareness where the change has to happen is at that sukshma or that subtle level of the thoughts. And this is where the Geeta ji focuses on. It does not focus on the outside action. We don't need to change anything outside, but Lord Krishna tells us to change the way we think, the way we visualize this entire universe, and we need to change our thought pattern from a constructive way so that our actions improve. So let's see what Shri Krishna talks about in Geeta ji about actions and its results. The famous Chatursurtri shloka of Bhagavad Gita in the second adhyaya, the 47th shloka, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbuhu mate sangostva karmani. And this, everyone knows this. This is the most well-known shloka which talks about the four pillars of karma yoga. The first is karmani eva adhikarate. It means Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, your choice is only in actions. Whether you want to do actions or you don't want to do action, whether you want to do this, go on this path of the action, or whether you want to go on this path of the action, but the choice is yours. So that message is for the entire mankind, that it is the actions that we do, which we are engrossed in all throughout the day, is what is under our control or our choice. Ma phaleshu kadachan, not the results of the action. Shri Krishna tells us that the results of the action are not completely within our control. Yes, we may desire to achieve certain result, but whether we will really achieve that result or not is something which is beyond our control, because there are several factors which act to produce a result from a particular action. Ma karma phala heturbuhu means you act with the right understanding. You use your intellect, your understanding, your buddhi, which is the greatest gift of the God to us human beings, that we should use it judiciously so that we don't kind of bind ourselves to this karma bandhana. Mate sangha astu akarmani, and don't be attached to laziness, to inaction. Don't think that because action is difficult, we don't understand, that's why I want to run away from the battlefield. I don't want to fight this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do any of my particular roles, responsibilities, or my duties because I want to be lazy. That is something that Geeta ji never talks about. It is only that we have to be inspired into karma, into action, and that is what Geeta ji talks about all the time. So in a nutshell, we can summarize that our choice is, our free will is only in our actions or the efforts that we put in, not in the results or the outcome of these actions. That is not where we should focus, but that is something in the future. Currently, the present is where I should do, how I should do, and how well I should do. So let's talk of each of these pillars in a little detail. The first is, we all human beings are all the time engrossed in actions. We are all attached to actions. We love to do action. Right in the morning, we wake up, we are into actions. We do our, we brush our teeth, we take bath, and we go to our work. All the time, we keep on doing something or the other all the time till we go to bed in the night. And that's why karma is what is a pravruti part. It is where Shri Krishna talks about how we can do it well. So our choice is only in our actions. We have been given this free will, which no other species apart from human beings have this free will. Every other animal species or any other species, if you see, they only have natural instincts through which they work. They don't have a free will that human beings have been endowed with to choose what kind of work we want to do, whether we want to do the work or not. And this choice is ours, which we should exercise well. Shri Krishna tells us that we have been given everything to our actions. Everything is given to us. The 5 elements, the wind, the air, the oxygen that we breathe, the Prithvi or the earth on which we walk. Everything is given to us. Everything is on our platter. It is up to us what kind of actions we want to do. And it is our responsibility to do these actions in the best possible way, with utmost understanding, precision, awareness, and with a lot of proper thought, with the correct attitude. Ma phaleshu kadachana. We don't have the choice in the results of the action. This has been misinterpreted by a lot of people, saying that we should just do action and don't worry about the results. That is not the real understanding or meaning of what Shri Krishna tells us. Not even a fool will start any action without a desired result. Everybody indulges into some of the other action for getting a particular result. When we want to get onto a destination, we embark on a train journey or a flight because we know the destination where is our desire to reach. Similarly, in any profession, if you see, for example, a doctor prescribes a medicine with the desire that the person gets better, gets cured, and that is the intention behind which this act is done. Now, whether that act will really cause the patient to be cured or not is not completely entirely under the control of the doctor, because there are several ways. Every human being is different, the body is programmed differently, and that's why whether the patient really will get better or not, his diagnosis may be different, and that's why we don't have the choice. So the meaning is that we can desire for a particular result or an outcome. It is very natural to have that kind of a desire. For example, a student is studying, he desires to get good marks, and that's why he works hard to get good marks. But whether he or she will really get good marks or not is not something which is completely under his or her control. But Shri Krishna tells us that we should not insist on a particular result. The problem is when we insist, no, I have done this, so that's why I must get this. And that insistence is what creates a problem. We must understand that there are several factors. Many of the factors are not under our control. And when this happens, we have to accept, we have to understand, we have to let go of the desires for the results. We have to have a kind of a prasada buddhi, an acceptance. Whatever comes, yes, sometimes, you are embarking on a flight and the flight gets delayed by 2 hours. When you reach to the airport, you have to understand that there are several factors which are beyond our control. And that's why instead of getting worried, instead of getting angry at the staff and speaking some bad words to the people, harsh words does not help. And that's why that acceptance, that understanding is very, very important. Ma karma phal heturbuhu. Shri Krishna tells us, don't be the cause for your next birth, because actions is what creates our karma bandhana and our sansara and the next birth. All this we create this tiffin we built, or we built in this life about our next life. And that's why Bhagwan tells us to do our actions with the right understanding, so that it does not bind us and we are liberated from this sansar chakra. Mate sangastu akarmani. Don't be attached to inaction. Don't become lazy. Do the best that you can in the given situation. Don't run away from action due to fear. A lot of time people don't want to get initiated into action because of the fear of failure, because of the fear that there will be so many complications, problems, defects, or some shortcomings of every action that we embark on. There may be the other side, but if we keep seeing that other side, we may not be able to perform the action. That's why Bhagavan tells us what is to be done. You do it, Arjuna. Here, Arjuna, duty is to fight the war, and that's why Bhagavan Shri Krishna is telling him, Taktottishta Parantapa, hey Parantapa, you get up, stand up and fight this war. It is a wrong misinterpretation that Shri Krishna is inciting violence into Arjuna. It's not the right interpretation of Gita ji. Shri Krishna believes in non-violence, ahimsa, paramo dharma. All of our scriptures believe in non-violence. But here, it is a duty of Arjuna. He came to fight the war. But because of the shoka, because of the moha, he just felt that I don't want to fight this war. And Shri Krishna is telling him what is dharma, what is the right thing to do, what is the correct thing he should do in this situation. And that's why he tells him to fight the war and do karma yoga, his duty properly. So essentially, we must make the best use of this human life that is given to us, where we have this free will, we have this acceptance. We should know where we have to exercise the free will or efforts, where we have to exercise acceptance. We have to try our best. Free will has to be used as much as possible, and then up to a stage beyond which we have to accept the results, whatever comes, do the best and leave the rest. That should be our mantra. And that's why what we need to do is Karma Yoga in the third Adhyaya, which is entirely dedicated to Karma Yoga. Bhagavad describes many different attitudes, different types, but he starts with saying that Yah Indriyani Manasa Niyamya. One has to control our sense organs, our senses, our 5 Indriyas, the Gnanendriyas, through which we capture the knowledge of the outer world or the information of the outer world, and then it goes to the mind for processing. It does all the sankalpa, vikalpa, all the options, and then the buddhi, intellect, decides what needs to be done. This is how our human mind works. And here, the indriya are very wavering, very chanchala. That's why Bhagavan tells us you start with this indriya sanyama, and with the karmendriya, with our 5 action senses, we should keep on doing our action with a mind under control. That is what Shri Krishna tells us, asattaha, without attachment to our karma, without attachment to our kartrutva, our doership feeling, without attachment to karma phala. We should keep doing our karma in the best possible way. And Bhagavan says, saha vishishyate, that person is a better person, is a much more superior person, is a really desirable person. So Indriya Sanyama, senses are outgoing, Bahirmukha, they are very wavering, they are like horses, they need some kind of a lagam on them, and that is what the mind does. Essentially, all the objects, knowledge is taken by the senses to the mind, and intellect takes the decision. And sense control, Indriya Sanyam, is the first step towards Karma Yoga, and then finally mind control, Manas Sanyama or the Shama, is what is needed. So mind control, or making the mind mature, Manas Sanyama, or it is also called Shama in Yoga Shastra, is to discipline our mind. And this is the entire, our journey of life is to discipline our mind. And this mind is very sukshma, very difficult to understand. And that's why it forms different habits which we are unaware of. And then we behave accordingly based on those habits. And that's why the maturity of the mind does take time and efforts. We have to put in a lot of efforts to mature our mind, whereas the body does mature much easily, naturally. But gradually, as the mind matures, it becomes effortless, and then good habits form. We need to imbibe good values, universal values of harmony, peace, lovingness, non-violence, compassion, goodness, helping others. All these universal values we should imbibe, and then it becomes effortless. So as we age, the body naturally grows, it becomes old also naturally, but the mind does not grow naturally. It requires a lot of efforts. It is possible that the person may be 60, 70-year-old, but the mind of that person may be like a 20-year-old person, like doing a lot of jidda, insistence, invalid insistence, and this is like a child's mind where there is not much understanding, but very strong dogmas, conceptions, notions, likes, dislikes. I want to do it in this way. I don't want to do it in this way. This kind of strong likes, dislikes are something that shows that the mind is not yet mature. Anasakti, when Bhagavan says asakta, so here the rag and the dvesh, these are the 2 root cause of all the problems. Shri Krishna is described very clearly in the 2nd and the 3rd Adhyaya, and later on also what is raga, what is dvesha, and how they work. Rag is a pleasant feeling of happiness, being happy, feeling good, sukha vritti. When we meet certain people, when we meet certain, use certain objects, or in certain relationships, in certain areas where we feel this, that is called raga, and this raga causes attachment. We want it again and again. It creates desires in our mind. It creates greed, lobha, and then it causes moha. So this is how raga works. Dvesha is the unpleasant feeling, something that we don't want that person or that food or that, whatever is that object in front of us. Dukkha vritti, in presence of that particular object, person or situation, causes repulsion inside, and sometimes it causes anger if that person or that feeling comes back again and again. Somebody tells us, somebody insults us, then we become angry, we don't like it, it becomes unpleasant for us. And if sometimes it is suppressed, and it comes out as violence also. So these raga dvesha are the main problems. They are the root cause of many of our problems in day-to-day life. They stay in the mind in the dormant state, and they are activated by the senses. When we see something, we touch something, we feel something, we hear something, and these raga dvesha get aroused, and they create impressions in our minds, samskaras, to which we keep automatically working towards those raga or the dvesha. And the mind of the wise person, the Gnani Purusha, is like a mirror. There are no such impressions, there are no such strong raga, dvesha, likes, dislikes. They may have a natural likes and dislikes for a particular food or a particular place or particular person, but they are not very strong, they are very natural, and that's how the mind of the wise people works. In the third Adhyaya, Bhagavan talks about the 4 attitudes of Karma Yoga: the attitude of duty, the attitude of debt, the attitude of offering, Yagna Buddhi, the attitude of acceptance, Prasada Buddhi, of the Karma Phala, and the attitude of the cosmic cycle, the Srushti Chakra. The first attitude is the attitude of duty. Bhagavan says, Niyatam Kuru Karmattu. He says, O Arjuna, you do whatever is the prescribed duty for you. This, that which is given in the ancient times in the Sanatan Dharma, Shastras has given the 4 Varnas. According to the 4 Varnas, the duties of these Varnashram Vyavastha, 4 Ashrama and 4 Varna, there was a prescribed duty. Today, our duties according to our particular role that we have in the society. I may be a father at home, a husband at home, a son at home. I may be, in the community, in the society, I'll be one of the members. At work, I have a particular, responsibility. We all of us have a particular responsibility. Somebody is a leader, somebody is a worker, and somebody, there is a boss. So we are the subordinate somewhere, we are the leader of the team. So all these different roles and responsibilities we have to do, and we have to do it in the best possible work. And Bhagavan says here that action is superior to inaction. Don't be lazy, Arjuna, because one does not perform action, even our journey of life will not be fulfilled. That's why action, pravritti or karma is an essence of our life, and we should understand and learn to do it well. So attitude of duty, in our Indian context, a lot of times the word duty is used for karma. A lot of people, like the security men, when the soldiers, they will say, I'm going on a duty. My duty is in the night shift. I'm working in the day shift. My duty is this. This is my duty. We call this our work as our duty. And that is what our Shastras tell us. Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. That I should do my duty in the best possible way. Wherever I am, whatever is my role, wherever I'm doing work, I'm working in a job or in a profession or in a wherever, I must do it well. It should not be like a burden, but I should do it with a lot of joy. Do it out of joy, so as to make a difference, so as to help people. And all my roles and responsibilities in my life, I should do it in the best possible way with utmost awareness and dedication. So that is the meaning of the attitude of duty that Bhagavan says. And it gives a very vast example of how in this entire cosmos, in this universe, there is a completely, everybody is doing his duty. The clouds give rain, the sun gives it sunshine, the warmth, the heat, the light, and rivers keep flowing, give us water. So everything, even the plants, the trees, they give oxygen to us. Everybody does their duty accordingly. The moon gives a lot of peace to us. So all this, everybody contributes. Similarly, on an individual level, we also need to do our duty. And all this duty is given by the God to everyone. And this, we should do it. There is a purpose behind this duty, and we should do it well. We should also not do it with a lot of pride, but we should do it with humility, that we are just an instrument in this process, in this chain of events. We are just like one instrument, nimitta matra bhava. With that kind of a bhava, we should do it, so that we remain humble, our ego does not arouse, and it does not get very strong, and with also the faith that I will be rewarded adequately in this theory of karma phala. It's a very just system. Whatever I do, I will be appropriately rewarded. I may not be able to know that I've got this reward. Sometimes the reward comes later. Sometimes it comes in different forms. Sometimes whatever we have done, we get it in a different form. We don't understand this completely. Bhagavan is going to tell us karmana gahano gatihi in the next shlokas. The second attitude is the attitude of repayment or the debt, and this is also a higher attitude than the attitude of duty. An attitude of gratitude, always being thankful for what we have been given, for what has been done, whatever success we have achieved. Be thankful to the Lord, to the divinity, to the team around, to everybody who has contributed to this success. Because everything has been given to me. I have not created everything. For what I am today, there were teachers who taught me in the school. There were schools which were built many years ago. There were, the curriculum which was made, the knowledge is in there, the researchers, the scientists have devised all these, they designed all these experiments and created the knowledge base for us, which I could learn and I could understand. And so a lot of people have been involved in what I am today. Even one meal that I eat, so many people are involved to create a farmer who actually grows the grains, and then the shopkeeper, then the grinder who grinds, and then the cook who makes it, and then a lot of other ingredients are there. So a lot of things go behind what we achieve, we do, and this is something that society has contributed so much for me, for what I am today, and I must repay all the debt. It's like an interest. It's like a loan that has been given to me. I have to pay back the interest of this loan as a gratitude to. As a duty, as my duty, and that should be done with humility, utmost humility, that we are eager to give back to the society to lessen the burden of our debt on us, and this is a much higher virtue. We'll always be aware of my responsibilities towards the society, because I have a lot of responsibility towards the society. So wherever our Guruji tells us, wherever we always focus on our rights, there is always a fight, because we say, I must get this, why I didn't get this, this is my right, I must do it. But if we focus on our duty, there is duty everywhere, then we are always at peace of mind. We don't have a fight, we don't have conflicts, but we have an acceptance. We do what best we can do. What is our duty? We look at our duty, and that is what our scriptures tell us. Shri Krishna tells us in this shloka of the third adhyaya, Shreyan Sadharmo Vigunaha, that my duty is the best, it is the highest. Even if it is imperfect, it is much better than the following anyone else's duty. I should not compare my duty with others. Oh, he was my friend, he was my classmate. Now see where he is. He has achieved so much. He has got so much of wealth. He's become so wealthy, powerful. So this is something that we always try to emulate or compare with others. But Shri Krishna tells us that my duty, I must focus on my duty. Even if it is imperfect, it is much better than following anyone else's duty. Death is better than in our own duty, like soldiers on the front, they sometimes, get martyred. And that is what Bhagavan says, that death is better than our own duty, and it is dangerous to follow others' duty. Paradharma bhayavaha. And that's why we should not compare or compete with others, but try to focus on our own responsibilities rather than focusing on our rights all the time. Now, how to perform actions also needs to be understood. It is not easy to understand the actions in this shloka. The fourth adhyaya, Bhagavan says, Karmana api buddhavyam. What needs to be done, what is prescribed in the Vedas is worth knowing. What is vikarmana, what is forbidden action, what should not be done is also worth knowing. Akarmana, what is how to become actionless. In spite of being in action, the wise person is actionless because they have a clear understanding that this karma is done in the body-mind complex, whereas I, the karta, the doer, the atma or the consciousness is actionless, and that akarmanaha is also worth knowing. And Bhagavan says that's why karmanaha gati gahana karmano gatihi, because the nature of the karma actions, how they work is very difficult to understand. The system of karma phala, which has been designed by Ishvara, is very, very difficult for us to understand. We don't understand this sukshma, how we are rewarded by something that we have done quite far away, or something we don't even know when we have done it. Immature karma tyaga is painful. In this shloka of the 5th adhyaya, Bhagavan says that karma yoga is very important. We should not give up karma immaturely because it can be very painful. One who has not practiced karma yoga and they go in for a renunciation is very painful and miserable because they're always used to discomforts, luxuries, and mind is not prepared or matured for renunciation. So the Muni who has practiced karma yoga and for in no time he achieves liberation, for him the renunciation is a good path because they can achieve the final goal of liberation, moksha. So karma yoga leads to purity, shuddhi, equanimity, samatva buddhi. All these are the benefits of karma yoga or the purpose of doing karma yoga. But Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells in the 5th adhyaya that the main benefit of karma yoga, the main reason why we should practice this karma yoga is for inner purification, atma shuddhi. He says karma yogi performs all these actions with his body, mind, intellect and with senses without attachment to the results. Karma phala sangam tyaktva. Because this is where we should focus only on our actions, not on the results of the action. And the purpose of doing all this is for purification of our inner mind, antakarana shuddhi. Because only with this pure inner mind, we can then progress further on the path of knowledge and understand this divine knowledge that Shri Krishna talks about in Bhagavad Gita. And the yogi purush, the wise people, they work with this kind of a detachment from the body, mind, senses. They know that, that with this purification, a seeker can reach this stage. In the 6th adhyaya, which is the Atma Sanyama Yoga, Bhagavan talks about a lot about meditation and self-restraint, self-efforts, how we can put in, what is the importance of our self-efforts, all this. But he starts the first shloka with Karma Yoga, that without Karma Yoga, we cannot even enter into meditation or any of the further means. He says, one who has done his duties, the Kartavya Karma, by leaving the attachments to the fruits of action, which is Prasada Buddhi or Karma Phala Tyaga, such a Karma Yogi, he is a sannyasi. In eyes of the Lord, Karma Yogi and sannyasi are one and the same. The true yogi is both, they both perform Tyaga, not just giving up action, just by wearing saffron clothes or robes or giving up all the actions is not a sannyasi. The real sannyasi is the person, according to Krishna, is the person who has given up attachment to the Karma Phala Tyaga, who has done this, that is a real. So Karma Yogi is the Karma Phala Tyagi, sannyasi is the Karma Tyagi. But in the eyes of the Lord, both are Tyagis and both are the true yogis. And then in the 18th adhyaya, when Bhagavan Krishna is summarizing everything, the message of the entire Gita Ji, again he talks about this karma, that what is the goal of karma is to create purity. And he says we should not give up yagna, dana, tapa karma. These three karmas are very important because they should be done, they should not be given up, because yagna, tapa and dana karma they lead to purity of the body, mind and senses. Pavanani manishinam, for it also dissolves our pride, and that's why it helps us on this path. So we should not give up this kind of karma. Karma should not be renounced prematurely. Again, he says in the 18th adhyaya again that for human beings it is not possible to renounce all actions completely. But the one who renounces the karma phala tyaga, the fruits of the actions or the results of the actions, he is a real tyagi. Again, Shri Krishna emphasizes this fact, shows how strongly we are all attached to our kartrutva, our karma, and duty, how we can make it as a worship. A lot of people say that duty is worship, but how we can really make it as our devotion in our life, and that can make us eligible for this Atma Jnana. Bhagavan says, Swakarmana Tama Abhyarcha, how we can surrender or offer our karma. Now, karma is a very sthula thing, like the activities, or the sukshma thing, like the thought. How can we offer it to the Lord? Bhagavan says, and he describes who is that Lord, who is that Ishvara, Yatah Pravruti Bhutanam, from air all the beings are created. He is the creator, the Nimitta Karana of the Sansara, and Yena Sarvamidam Tatam, by whom this entire universe is pervaded, who is the part of the creation itself, the Upadana Karana. And according to our scriptures, this Abhinna, that one Nimitta and Upadan Karana of this Srushti or this entire universe is Ishvara. And to this Ishvara, if we can Tama Abhyarcha, Swakarmana, if we can surrender all our prescribed karma to this Ishvara, then Siddhim Vindati Manava, those people will attain the ultimate goal of their life. And this is the Yagna Buddhi, this is the offering, Ishvara Arpana Bhavana. And Karma Yogi knows Ishvara well, and this, the grand divine order through which everything works, cosmic cycle and the human body and all the beings and everything, how they work. If somebody knows this, that is itself is a divinity, that itself is Ishvara. And once we connect with this and we do our karma, then these karma are very different. So swakarmana tama pyarcha, we can remember Ishvara during all our actions, smarana, Ishvara smarana, and gratitude when we get the results, that we have received this with the grace of the Lord, with the energies of the Lord, an action done in the best possible way without any laziness, selfless actions for the benefit of the society at large, without expectation of the returns. Those kind of are also offerings to the Lord, without pride of our own, without ahamkara, but with nimitta bhava. They are also offering to the Lord. And when we accept the karma phala as a prasada, whatever comes to us as a prasada buddhi, this is also offering to the Lord. Such a karma yogi attains purity of the mind and becomes eligible for Atma Jnana. Again, Bhagavan says that our duty is the best. Don't follow others' dharma, because this will lead to a sin. Like a soldier, he follows his own karma, then it never leads to his sin. And if there may be some defect in our karma, every karma has its own defect, and that's why Bhagavan Krishna in this 18th Adhyaya says, though if there is a defect, one should even then not give up. Say, for example, when a doctor prescribes this medicine, there is a chance that there may be a side effect with that medicine, but even then does not mean that he should not treat it. He should be careful to minimize the side effects, and all the actions have an inherent defect. Just like the smoke engulfs the fire, there is always some kind of a defect in all karmas, but even then we should not give up karma. Don't give up your karma. And this understanding is celebrated in our scriptures, how we can follow various roles in our life without thinking of the inherent flaws of the karma, but do them responsibly, act accordingly. So the right action does produce the right results. We don't know how, when, where. Karmana ghano gatihi. We don't understand how actions produce its karma phala, but we must have faith in this system that there will definitely be a right fruits for the right actions that we have created. But to summarize, Shri Krishna has told us that our choice is only in our actions, our free will. We cannot insist on the results because many factors determine the results of what we are going to do. But we must do our actions with the correct understanding, keeping in mind the entire cosmic cycle, the entire cosmos, how it works, how the human body also works, and how the divinity works in this entire cosmic order. We should not be attached to inaction. We should not be lazy. We should do our given duty in the best possible way with Indriya Sanyam, control of the sense organs, and with the Mana Sanyama, which is called emotional maturity, which is very important and which has to be achieved by our efforts as we go on this path. But strong likes and dislikes are the root cause of most of our daily problems. We should be aware of these raga, dvesha, and the four attitudes of karma yoga: attitude of duty, attitude of debt, repaying this debt, attitude of offering towards this mankind, selfless actions, nishkam karma, acceptance, prasada buddhi, whatever comes as a result, and attitude of this srushti chakra in the cosmic cycle. We are a contributor rather than we keep consuming from this cosmic cycle. So all these attitudes does help us. Shreyan Swadharma Vigunama, my duty is the best, even if it has some imperfections, even then it is much better than others' duty. And the nature of this karma phala, is something very difficult for us to understand. But we must know that whatever we sow, we will reap. Whatever we put in, we will get. And that's why we should do our karma, all our karma, with a lot of responsibility. And the main benefit of doing karma yoga is purification of our mind, inner mind and senses. So with this, we come to the end of this session. I pay my respects to the Ishvara Krupa, through whose grace everything is possible. I pray to this Guru Shishya Parampara, through which this knowledge is preserved and transmitted to each us. I pay my respects to my Guruji, Pujya Guruma, with whose grace I am able to learn the scriptures. I am sharing this understanding with you. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parah Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.